How should a woman prepare for the upcoming recession?
The same way a man does.
Yep.
Mic drop. I don't think that's shocking news by any means.
With the bottle.
Love you.
Yep, man.
You steal them away from your friend. Your husband sneaks it out. That's step. No, that's not step one. That's not step one.
That is honestly the same way a man would.
Yeah. It's exactly the same. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, why would it be different for a girl than it is for a guy for money?
Okay, wait,
Money's not sexual.
We're women, so we should buy more purses and more shoes than.
I mean, when you feed the addiction,
opposed to
that doesn't I like to.
No, you just have to watch.
I mean, than that.
I love shopping too,
Yeah.
but I seriously, with prices going up and stuff, I double check, like, do I really need that? And if I want something, I step away from it for a few days. And if in 3 days I'm like, I have to have that, then I go back and buy it. I have never once bought a huge purchase on credit that I cannot pay off monthly. My credit card never holds balance from month to month. I pay my bills at the beginning of the month based on what my income is going to be. And that's not an excuse as to whether, oh, well, my income fluctuates. Mine did too. My income used to fluctuate when I owned my business from month to month. So at the beginning of the month, I calculated all of my fixed expenses. Those fixed expenses were paid for and in accounts, different accounts to pay all of those bills at the beginning of the month. I left myself a tiny little float in a checking account. That was kind of an account I could play with. And the rest at the end of the month, if there was some left over, it immediately went into investments or savings. It immediately did. There was no, oh, look, I've got $1,200 left over this month. That means I can go blow it or go drink or go to the bar or go buy a new pair of shoes. And yes, I have shoes and stuff like that, but it's because I can go and buy something. And when I can buy something, I am taking a $1,200 pair of shoes. Yes, that's something I have worked very hard for, but I know when I put that on my credit card that at the end of the month it's going to be paid off because I do not carry a balance on my credit card from month to month.
Exactly.
Because it will
you
take
get your extra points this way. Everything you pay it off, you use it, you're actually making money.
Yeah. My thing now is basically if I can't pay for it with my MasterCard, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Because I want the points. But same thing, it doesn't carry a balance month to month. I pay for absolutely everything I possibly could on a credit card.
People don't realize how dangerous credit cards are. They're good for building credit, and you need credit. You have to have credit, but it's bad to.
I didn't get my first credit card until I was 25 because I was terrified of them, and the fact I was terrified of having debt.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was like 22 for my first cell phone. I had to pay for it myself. I was probably 25 for a credit card as well.
It wasn't until I was dating Brad, and he was like, "What do you mean you don't have a credit card?" And I was like, "I don't want debt. Like, I don't ever want to." He's like, "No."
But the problem is you don't have credit at that age. That was something I learned and everything too.
So then I immediately got my first credit card and started building credit.
Yeah.
But not. I feel like because I was at that age, I was able to understand it better and not get a credit card, max it out, be like free money. Instead, I got one and learned how to properly use a credit card as it should be used.
Which is part of the thing. People are preparing for the recession. They need to actually go and fine-comb through their expenses. Go look through your actual account statements. Be like, where am I losing money? Where is it? And also look for deals. I mean, again, savviness. I love being savvy. I will go through and I will look where I feel like I'm bleeding money. Even if it's something as minute where you're like, oh, just Tim Hortons, $20. Be like, wait a second, I did that like 10 times this week. That's an issue because then for the month, holy shit. And that money would have been better spent if I actually took that money and invested it. Look at your regular expenditures. Look at just even stuff for your house. So it doesn't have to be the small stuff. You say small, look for the bigger stuff. Look for things with your mortgage that you can save on. Talk to your banker, that's huge. Your insurance, talk with them over, look for the different deals. Us, even gas prices, we were able to lock it in, look how far those are going. Look at, I mean, honestly, solar power is where we're going if it's gonna escalate this much for people for their house and heating. Look at just your regular bills and look at the things you can cut because I mean, dollar saved is a dollar earned. and you need to start investing it.
You would be shocked on how much money you can save by just packing yourself a lunch.
So true. And it's
Every
healthy.
single
And it's
day.
healthy. It doesn't have to be just for that
Yeah.
monetary reason. It's healthy.
Yeah.
Look at stuff you do if it's adding value to your life, or is it just taking away from
Yeah.
your pocket?
Yeah.
And to circle back to like where Sue had said that her income fluctuated every month.
Yeah.
You base your expenses on your worst month, not
Absolutely.
your best.
100%.
Yeah.
And then when you do have a bad month, it's shocking. You have a bit of a cushion.
Yeah,
Like a bad month wasn't gonna kill me.
exactly.
You know, it happens, and you know that those are going to come. But if you spend to the max every month, there is no way that, and then all of a sudden you're short 1 month and you pull a little bit out of savings, then suddenly you get behind. It's very easy to get behind, so you have to stay on top of that.
Yeah, so save, save, save. That's the moral. Look where you can
Yeah.
save more money and definitely be way below
Yeah.
your income.
One of the best things
Saving.
my family ever told me was, even at 16 years old, I started working at 14, probably even before that, 10% of everything I got had to go into an account. And I was just a kid. 10% of everything I got. And then I started realizing that after about a year, I'm like, that's going up. And then I'm like, well, I wonder what would happen if I did 20. And well, 20 would mean I'm doing a little less, you know, I can't go to McDonald's or Tim Hortons, or I can't
Yeah.
stop for lunch. And,
But now you have a fun new hobby. You
Right?
watch that money accumulating, and it's kind of
yeah, and it's
fun.
it's a thrill to
yeah.
see the accounts climbing, and
Yeah.
it really is. And that's your cushion. That's down the road where you are investing and you're watching everything go up. And then if something does go down, it's not such a kicker because
Yeah.
you have that cushion, right? And it's
Exactly.
and I did that on my own. I'm staying up 18 hours a day, and I am doing that stuff that I wanted, that most people pay other people to do.
That's because you stopped and you educated yourself. That's the huge thing. You stopped. You're like, wait a second. Is there a better way of doing this? And
Yeah,
that's
why pay
reflecting
them
on
when they can
this.
pay,
Yeah.
like, why pay somebody else to do a job that I can do myself and make good money?
Now you're making money off of it instead of
Yeah.
losing, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So lots of ways to
Oh,
definitely
tons.
prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think that being a female makes success more difficult?
No, but it sounds like a great excuse.
They
That's
told
what
me I
feel.
couldn't
I
do
feel
it.
like it's more of an excuse for
Yeah.
people. There is no reason. Okay, other than like maybe lifting something that's really heavy, name one thing that a man can do better. Really?
Don't you know
He's
women
standing
rule
up.
the world?
I'm sorry.
It depends on where you are. It depends on where you are. When you're in Cuba and they don't have toilet seats, you learn real quick
Or
how to
you've
be
been in those
standing up.
really dirty looking bathrooms. Yeah, you're like, damn it.
I can learn that real quick if that's what I need to do.
No,
Yeah.
realistically, nothing. I mean, they told me I would never do it, and my mindset was, yeah, well, watch me.
I feel like the only people who would undermine a woman who's trying to do something is somebody who's scared that she'll do it better than they did.
Yeah.
I think it's people giving excuse, and I have a story for it, and it sounds overly sentimental when I actually say it. But about 8 years back, I taught a girl, and she was so sweet, and she was in grade 6, and she was very, very smart. You could just tell she was completely intelligent, but she just wasn't trying. And she was failing stuff, and I was like, you need to actually try. She's like, what's the point? I was like, what's the point? Well, my mom's a stay-at-home mom, my grandma is. She's like, it doesn't matter if I get good grades or not. I'm like, well, if you want to work, you can work. Like, it's fine if you want to be a stay-at-home mom or anything. And she was just like so shocked, and I was just like so affected. And it's like, you know what? Like, you can have a future. You don't have to do the same thing. And I was so affected that my youngest actually named after her.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, and I always give that message to my 2 girls, that they can do anything just so that they have self-confidence, and I think that's a huge part. And being that role model.
Absolutely. When somebody tells you you can't, you show them that you can.
You show them and be supportive. I think that might be the thing, is making sure family members are supportive of each other. So even if they don't want to do the same thing as you, or if they do want the same thing, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom. You need to have math skills. You got to help balance that budget in the house, even if you are staying home. And there's different ways to invest. You can still invest even if you are bringing in income.
I tried the stay-at-home mom thing for a bit after I had finished. I put myself through university. I was a therapist for a while. After I had had enough, and Brad was like, well, stay at home for a bit. I stayed at home for 5 months and I was so bored out of my mind that it literally got to the point where I was like, I have to go back to work.
Oh.
Because I was bored, but also like, I always want more. I always want to be more, have more. I never want to just settle. Like, yeah, we could get by just fine with me staying at home, but I didn't just want that.
No.
So
it's, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Staying at
what
home isn't
works
for
for
some
each
people.
and you test it out, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I've learned that. I get my summers off. I've had the 2 1-year mat leaves, and I was the person that was going out with the newborn like 7 times a week. And people are like, oh my gosh, I'm lucky if I get 1 time out a week. And I'm like, I can't just stay home. And then I felt like, even though I still had money coming, and I always had the fear that I have to be like, honey, can I have money? Like, no, that shit's never happening.
That
Right?
was my
Yeah.
thing, because it was like, Drina was in school, so I was literally home all day, and I'm like, I feel guilty going out and spending money all day because I don't have that same income. So like, yeah, I didn't want to go do anything, so I was just sitting at home,
Yeah.
and that's why I was so bored. But it's not that I couldn't go spend money, it's not that I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed or that I had to ask. I feel like I need to have my equal contribution,
Yeah.
even if it's not
Well,
equal,
it's that
but I
part
need to
too.
contribute
Yeah.
what I can.
Yeah.
I never want to have, especially a man, but I've had somebody before tell me, you wouldn't have that if it wasn't for me, and I vowed from that moment I would never have somebody tell me that I wouldn't have something if it
No,
wasn't
that
for
would
them.
be absolutely horrible. And I think it's also part of personality. Like, my family is so much in everything of my world, but I also get to be me, and I get to contribute to society in a way that I want to. I get to help educate and build a confidence, help people, work in all kinds of different places where people aren't having that privilege, that need help. And I think there's huge value in having that for yourself.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the gender pay gap?
I don't know if there is one.
I've heard for different industries. It's based on industries that you have.
Yeah.
I think it's tricky if people, I guess there's lots of rules for it, but definitely harder for people who own businesses, that if you're not a huge corporation, that if you have a younger woman who might become pregnant in a few years, they don't always want to hire them because they have to train somebody else. I think there is a horrible part to that. There needs to be things going in place. I feel like we're in a very rocky stage right now. We look at the states and everything that they have going on. Definitely people have to stand up for what they want.
Yeah, I feel like it would be more industry related. As somebody who's worked in accounting for years, I don't notice it, I don't think, because it's not something that affects my industry.
Yeah.
Maybe in construction, I own a construction company, and I don't have any females that work for us because of the industry it is. If we did, not apply because of the industry it is. Well, then I think that's women's fault for being underachievers then.
Well, it's a combination. I mean, there's so many things. Like, I don't know, I look at history. In fact, like my own mother was only one of two women that graduated from nursing back in her day, and there was barely anything. And before that, I mean, she's the youngest of 7 children. There wasn't birth control pills until her generation. So to hire someone, like she said, for nursing back in her day, to qualify to get into nursing in Winnipeg, you had to be single. You could not be engaged or anything. They checked, and you were not allowed into the university program if you were engaged or dating someone. So I think if you look at that part, I mean, we have still, that's quite recent. My mom is turning 75 this month, but 75 years is not a long time.
If you look at it in a roles like if women are being abrasive and a man is doing something that's more either in like labor intensive, then yeah, I would say that somebody who's doing a harder job deserves a higher pay. I think that if you're in the same industry, then there shouldn't be a wage gap. It shouldn't be an issue. But if you're not taking the same quality of job and the same effort it requires, then yeah, there should be a wage gap. I don't think that somebody working Tim Hortons should make the same amount, whether they're male or female, as somebody working, say, in a trade or something that took education. So if that's the wage gap they're referring it to, then yeah, I think it's fair.
There's like no validity in this actual thing. You need to have to be saying the statement. You have to have accuracy and validity for it. They need to actually redo the survey and look at the correct numbers to actually get an honest answer.
Yeah, and
that's not a proper assessment.
Yeah, I can't speak to it because I was in a male-dominated industry, and I just said, I don't care, and watched me go.
Yeah.
And now I'm semi-retired, so I mean, there's those who say, well, it is a male-dominated industry, and then there's me who was like, I don't care. So I can't really speak to that. I get that there's those things.
Again, it's like hers that you also,
Right.
It's like, oh, I chose this. Didn't mean that they were like trying to like witch hunt you out of the place.
No.
Like, you chose to do it, and
Yeah.
it
was me who chose to be successful in it,
Yeah.
and me who found the spots to make money instead of people giving the money away to somebody else. And it was me who worked the 18-hour days, and it was me who went, okay, where can I capitalize on that and keep people happy? And it was me who broadened my horizons within that business to open up to other parts and opened up another business within it, to like a branch of it, to make myself successful. Because although I was exhausted half the time, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I mean, I did what I did, and I'm happy.
You gotta
that I
hustle
know.
those younger years. I mean, oh my goch, when I was like 20, I was working 7 days a week. I was teaching music in conservatories, volunteering during the day, and going to university.
Yeah.
But you put the time in, and that's what you do. You gotta work it. No matter what you choose to do, you have to work hard.
Yeah, and find spots. There are places to make money. You just have to find them. What are other people doing that you're taking out of your industry wherever you are? Where are there pieces where I can work a little bit extra to make the money versus giving that money to somebody else where it's contracted out? Or
you know what my favorite thing is, and I always say this, is if you sit back and you look at your company or you look who you work with, you say, okay, who's the best there? People can already say some names of people that they work with, be like, oh, they're the best, and be like, oh, who's the worst? And you don't know who those people are, and be like, okay, what do those people have in common? What are they doing? Who are the people that are the best? And usually passionate. They're just so passionate, and they just live and breathe what they're doing. And the people who are the worst are just like, they're negatively going like, I'm like, I hope they get paid differently, because that is huge different effort and representation. But if you're looking for qualities to raise yourself up, just even whatever you're doing right now, who's the best? Who's that person that everybody wants to be around that's at your job? Who's getting maybe more hours? Who's getting the promotions? Like, people usually feed off their energy and everything else. You could probably already say what they're doing, and then ask yourself and be honest, what are you actually doing?
Yeah. What am I doing? In the morning before work, I'm doing whatever I need to do for my company. I'm sending estimates, placing material orders. On my lunch break, rather than just sitting on my phone like other people, I'm again sending estimates, sending quotes, running to place material orders. In that 1 hour break, I have it calculated that I can get to our supplier in 12 minutes, place an order. It takes me 12 minutes to drive back to my work. And then after work, I get home at about 6, I make dinner, I take care of my daughter, and then sometimes I'm up till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, again, working on our business. I do all of the bookkeeping, all of the accounting, everything else, because that's what I've done for work for 10 to 12 years now. Why would I pay somebody else to do it? So yeah, I put in the hours. If I want to have a successful business and be able to do it, that's what I have to do to get there.
So I guess close the gap. You can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.